There is a tide in all affairs of man. That's what Shakespeare once said. There is a tide. It means in the lives of men, the tide always goes up and down, and then goes up again, down again, up and down, up and down. It kind of flows like this. And there is no struggle if we just keep flowing with life. So it also goes like this with life. There's no need for struggle. If you have a depressing moment right now, if you just break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or if you lose a business, lose money, then that is the tide at that moment for you. It means the tide is going down. And there is no point. There is no point in making an effort in trying to swim upwards when the flow just moves downwards. Because what you will do is you will just expend more and more unnecessary energy that is only futile. So why not just flow downstream together with the flow of life? That's all you can do. Our humanity, the humanness of our being, is such that we are almost powerless in the tides of life. We are powerless. We are clueless. We think we are smart. We think our mind can project into a future that we can create. But actually, it's all life. We just need to move with life. And there is a discrepancy here. When you think that you need to move with life, it means that we don't have any desires. But what is desires? Is it just desires? Or is it the desires of life? What I'm putting out here, what I'm suggesting here is that it is the desires of life. It is not your desires. The way you own your desires is only the workings of your mind. That is false. There is no your desires. There is only desires and impulses. And those impulses are created by life itself. So when you want to have sex, that is not your desire to have sex. There is no you in that part of the equation. The desire comes from the biological needs of your body that tells you you want to have sex. Because that's your biological drives. It is not you that wants to have sex in a way. The universe wants that body of yours to have sex with another physical body. That's all it is. So there is no personal business in everything. So there is no us in everything. We just move according to the impulses of life. And we just enjoy in it. We take pleasure. There is no effort. The effort comes when you are struggling against the natural impulses of life. When you feel guilty about certain impulses, then you're struggling. Or in other words, when you feel like you know better than life itself, when you think that you have a much smarter plan than what life has in store for you, then you are in for a big trouble, because the mind is so limited. How can it compare with the workings of the whole universe that comprises millions and billions of people around the world and contains so many stars and the gravitational pulls of the moons. And I'm mentioning the gravitational pull of the moon because that gravitational pull might also have an effect in the liquid portion of your body that always in turn affects your emotional moods and all that stuff. There is an effect in everything. Everything plays a part. And how can you counteract that role the universe plays in? We have no power in anything. All we can do is just do what is needed at that specific moment. That is the grand vision, that is the grand action that we can take, and nothing else. Beyond it is just foolish, silly even. What we are not capable of doing, we won't be capable of executing. That's the main point. What we can do is what we can do right here, right now. And that is the only purpose that we have in this life. So in this way, we just keep on living life moment to moment. And beyond that moment, there is no other future. And we don't care about that future because we are only living inside this present moment. And when we always live in this moment on a regular basis, we create no stress for ourselves because we are so engrossed in the moment. We accept the moment as it is. We believe that it is what life requires of us at this moment in time. We create no stress. We just live so peacefully. So for many of you who think you're not doing enough to create the circumstances of your life, and when you have tried so hard and nothing works for you, then it is time for you to just stop and surrender. And just tell yourself that if you keep doing something over and over again, and life just doesn't give you the results that you crave, that means life doesn't want you to experience those results, that it is not for you. If you have a bad relationship with someone, most of the time we want to change the person. We try to control. Don't go out late at night. Don't go to bars. Don't meet the other boys or something like that. But in this way, you're just putting yourself in a much more precarious situation. Because right now in that situation, you're deluding yourself into thinking that you have power when you don't. Even if you think that your life is intertwined with somebody else's life, that person has his or her own life. We have nothing to say for that person. That person has a separate entity, has his own impulses that might contradict with our own impulses. We can work with each other's impulses, but many times we go into conflict. And when we go into conflict, a sure sign of stress will come when we try to control that person. And that is a big giveaway to the other person because you are not flowing with life. The more you pursue that person, the more you try to control, the more it gives away that you're not working with the power of the universe. The power of the universe works with the freedom of all human beings. What that person wants is what the universe wants at that moment. And when you're trying to change and control, you're just becoming a tiny little somebody who thinks you can change life itself. You can change the person around you. You think you're so powerful in that way. But this is the moment when you have to take a step back and realize that it is just your ego who thinks that it has so much power in this life. The ego only has a certain amount of power, very limited control. But there is another way, which is much more effortless, much more natural. It is more responsive in a way. It's like when you're dealing with a person, you're actually dealing with the wishes of that person instead of trying to fulfill your desires for your own selfish needs, so to speak. When you become this ego and you have this ambition of trying to achieve something, most of the time you are coming from limited power. That means you're not working with the power of the universe. And there is a way to tap into this unlimited force. Just try to do this. If you have a habit of trying to force your way into situations, and then you feel like you're so much in conflict with somebody else, then that is a good moment to turn into the power of the universe. And this is very easy. The only thing that you need to do is just relax. Relax your control and surrender. Let go of all desires to control, all ambitions. Just let it go. And see what happens. When you try to work with the wishes of that person will be relieved. He will enjoy the company when you give him freedom. They will feel appreciated because you appreciate their own wishes. And there is no conflict because you're so considerate of the needs of that other person. And you're not so much stuck in your own mind in a way. And you're just flowing with life because life is much greater than your ambitions. So much greater. There is so much more happiness that you feel when you see other people being happy rather than yourself being happy. Yourself being happy is just one person. But if you know how to make other people happy, how to listen to their needs, there's so much more enjoyment because not only you make them happy, you also make yourself feel proud of making them happy. Now, it is not just one person who gets to be happy, but it is now 2 people. And then when you meet other people, it becomes 5, 10 people. Everyone you meet, there is sort of a lubrication in every interaction because you are more responsive to that person. You kind of become more sensitive to the facial cues that person is giving off, that facial expression, the changes in that. You kind of pick up on those cues. And then you just know intuitively how to respond to that. In a way, you become soft. Because soft means you're empty in your mind. You don't have an opinion that you bring into a situation. You don't have a certain rigid perspective on life when you come into that situation. The true perspective is what that person needs or what that interaction needs. And then you just work with it. And then in a way, you just become so flexible. You have confidence that you can navigate through every situation. Because you just have the belief that you're working with the power of the universe, which is more holistic and much more inclusive of the needs of everyone you come into contact with. So that is what I mean by working with the power of the universe. It's not so much about your own needs to be fulfilled, but it's about the needs of the moment and the needs of everyone involved in that moment. So it just becomes more intuitive and it's much softer in a way, much emptier. And life will just flow into an empty vessel that you are. Life will just give back to you. It will just give you positive affirmations that you are going in the right directions. The people that you come into contact with will give you smiles. They will enjoy your company more, and you are much more relaxed. You also give them the chance to be more relaxed. Everyone is relaxed, and everyone is just in this light-hearted mood every time. And that is a great thing to be, to have a soft heart, a soft mind, an empty mind.